We'll
Of
come
course.
back.
I think we're already live, and this is absolutely wonderful because this is that hour. This is that hour where we go through a immersive experience with resplendent sisters that everybody is going to meet. So it's absolutely my privilege to introduce this very special session to everybody here who's tuning in and who's, all of you who've stuck around. We're on the 12th hour. We still have a couple of hours to go for our conference. And it's been such a joyful celebration all day long. So, taking the celebration up a notch this hour, I welcome you to this session, which will transport you to the timeless ethos of the feminine muse from the hallowed pages of Indian mythology. The anthology, Thus She Spake. This book is a baby of the Women Economic Forum. And in today's session, we will interact with two iconic characters from two authors, Dr. Suchitra Kaul Mishra and Raja Rajeshwari. Here they are. I'm not going to come any more between them, their beauty, their wisdom, their message, their love, and the sisterhood. I pass it over to you, my lovely soul sister, Dr. Suchitra. All yours.
Thank you so much, Mansi. Radha, Radhika, Radha Rani, Radhe Radhe. She lives in the hearts of millions. And Bollywood loves to make fanciful songs on her, and you may have hummed a few. But today, for the first time, she's going to speak to you in her own voice. My story, Radha, is a part of our anthology, Thus She Spake, a creative telling of mythology. And the book is available at Amazon. And I hope that the glimpse that we're going to give you today will make you read the full book. Why Radha? I'm asked by many. Why I chose Radha as my muse? And all I can say is, I chose her because she's so extraordinarily ordinary. Not a daughter of a god, not a princess, and not a scholar either. She is the quintessential ordinary village maiden, and I love the fact that she never sought any validation from anyone. She's commonplace, but so gracefully commonplace that Krishna, who enchants all, is enchanted by her. And even though they are physically separated early in life, thousands of years later, they remain inseparable. So much so that he is known as Radhe Krishna. I'm now going to take you through some excerpts from our book, Thus She Spake. The story takes place in Gokul, where they grew up. Your flute was mute those days. You carried it everywhere, safely tucked in your waistband. And as a toddler, you played the small venu for whistling. But the murali now was longer, and I would see you finger the bamboo holes quietly, but not breathe into them. And one day I asked you, do you even know how to play this, Kanha? I asked in jest, but you replied seriously. Not without you, Radhe. We were sitting on the rock by the river, our legs dangling in water, and you moved a wisp of my hair, which was covering my ear, and blew at that loose, stray wisp. Shh, listen. Listen, you whispered in your deep voice. And thereon, I started tuning my ear while we sat together, listening in rapt attention to the ripples in the water, the music in the wind, and the songs of the trees. We move on now to the night of the Ras Leela. Midnight fell like a rich blanket. Everything was so still. It was so still that I had to dance. I needed to dance. The music had filled and gathered inside me, seeping into my skin, tingling every pore. And I rose from the ground and opened like a flower. The sheer freedom awakened its own rhythm as I embraced the air and I flowed into it. Slow and mesmerizing, the wafting music unfolded itself and the notes quickened in tempo. At some point, you glided in, following and matching every step. I was oblivious to everything except you. I have no idea when the gopis joined us, but more and more luxurious skirts began to swish by, and ornaments jingled and chimed in accompaniment as we danced in ecstasy and abandon. A bevy was swirling and twirling, weaving concentric circles around us, and spellbound, my eyes looked up at the moon. And there it was, the full moon, pouring milk beams on the milkmaids. We were one with the earth and the sky. We were love and grace. We were timeless. And then the morning after, I must have looked quite a sight in the morning, drowsy, disheveled, and damp in the dew of the dawn. I headed back home with faltering steps. And the village elders were scandalized anew. They couldn't bear such utter disregard of social norms. Get her married fast. That was the practical advice. Marriage is the only hope for her. She must settle down. I heard them, but oh dear, nobody in the village would have me for a bride. Frankly, I couldn't care. And they groaned, the girl is shameless. She does whatever she pleases. And they were quite right. And I laughed and I laughed and I continued to live my dream. Friends, the story, of course, continues, but I have time for only this much today. Order your book and do your own time travel. And I'm now going to hand you over to Raj Rajeshwari, who writes under the name of A.R. Sara. And she's going to talk to you about her story of a mythological girl who some of you may not know about. Did you know that Shiva had a daughter? Yes, you're going to meet her. And her name is Ashok Sundari. So over to Ashok Sundari, Raj Rajeshwari.
Thank you, Sachitra. What a beautiful, beautiful rendition. And I was carried away to the realm of divine love. And from that divine love, now I invite you all into the realm of a child goddess who is also immersed in love, but parental love. And as we started on this anthology, and as we were deciding on the characters, as each of us picked a character to write about, to immerse ourselves into the worlds of our respective characters, the character that kind of drew me in was a child goddess, which not many of us have heard about. A child goddess of very powerful parents, Lord Shiva and goddess Parvati. Why? And it's something that she just has a bad mention about her in the Padma Purana and some red kathas from certain areas of Gujarat, apart from certain mentions here and there in mythology. And this was a character, a very obscure goddess, whose story, whose fragments, which are just fragments of a story that are available, that kind of drew me in, literally dragged me into a realm, and I began to visualize and try to complete and see what kind of a story might emerge. So as I visualized a story, what emerged was a story of a goddess forgotten, yet not entirely. And here I would like to invite you all to a glimpse of a slice of a life in Nandavanam, the divine forest. I was a child sprinting through the dazzling woods of Nandavanam, accompanied by diverse animals and birds. The place of my birth and wondrous childhood, a forest that was teeming with life of every kind. It was a bright summer morning. The earthy smell of fertile soil flavored the air, while the breeze, rustling of leaves and buzzing of a variety of winged beings created a unique symphony infused with harmony. My legs hardly touched the ground as I raced faster than a gazelle. Lithe and sleek, I could move at speeds way beyond mortal comprehension. I came to an abrupt halt, stretched my hands above my head, tangling them like vines. Then I stood on tiptoes, threw my head back, and swirled to the melody of nature. On a whim, I took off into the air just because I could, spinning my body faster and faster. As I rose, I soared higher and higher till the forest was just a shimmering green speck on the ground far below. I did a backflip, somersaulted easily in the air, and flew across the vast expanse of the azure sky. The clouds scattered and dissipated, letting the sun soak up the resplendent sight of me. Brahmi eagles joined my flight, flanking me on either side. I took a peek at the mortal realm, my eyes effortlessly piercing through the distance to catch a glimpse of the beings going about that day. On an impulse, I parted the translucent veil of two flames that separated the realms. It was risky, and I was forbidden to leave the forest. I was still a child, a goddess in training, as my father affectionately put it. Too young to understand the dangers, the demons that lurked beyond, my mother had warned. But a quick visit every now and then shall do no harm, I told myself. I could set things right with a flick of my magnificent weapon, a weapon I could conjure up at will. 7 crisscrossing blades seamlessly welded together as one to form a weapon that can deal deadly blows like no other. It was Kalatrika, my celestial weapon, forged in the heart of the brightest of stars. A weapon still evolving as I grew, its full potential still unrealized.
Wow.
So that
was lovely.
A glimpse, as I said, a slice of a childhood.
Yes, I know. And I love that part that she was a goddess in training. And Raj, you remember when we told Dr. Harbeen about it, and then we were so excited because she has written the foreword for this book.
Yes.
And yes, such a beautiful foreword. I would buy the book just for the foreword.
Maybe a piece of the foreword. Do you think that would help?
I think we don't have that much time here.
Okay.
but we must say that this has been a very, very fulfilling experience for us.
Yes.
To get into the skin of the characters of our chosen muse and see the world through their eyes. You want to say something else, Raj?
Yes, and I believe it's a beautiful culmination of all our creative synergies as we came together and began writing and visualizing in the same creative space. And I hope the readers also experience the same bliss that we experience writing it. And I'm sure they will.
Yes, that's right. So friends, I hope you're going to enjoy reading our book and then refresh these powerful voices of the feminine spirit for yourself. And most importantly, redeem your own relationship with them. Thank you so much. And it's back to the moderator.
Thank you so very much for that tantalizing journey, a vibrant journey through mythology, you know, through your imagination, through your storytelling. It was absolutely enrapturing. Thank you so much, ladies. Really feel so blessed. It was, you know, can I say that it was like candy at the end of the day after we've been hearing a lot of, you know, thought exchange. And this was just, you know, it served as such a beautiful relief, as such a, you know, almost a rejuvenation, if you may. So thank you so much.
Thank you, soul sister Mansi.
No, thank you, really.
And Raj.
Yes, absolutely. And because, you know, because you're two phenomenal soul sisters and you're a part of the sisterhood, part of the familia, we'd like to also acknowledge your work and bestow upon you this title on behalf of the Women Economic Forum at, you know, coming to you from Bangalore 2021. You're intrinsically a part of the core team. We'd like to acknowledge the work you do, Suchitra Kaul Mishra as the founder of the Healing Garden, and all the vibrance that you bring into the world that you shine in as an exceptional woman of excellence. Ladies and gentlemen, that moment where we put our hands together for this magical, mystical being. Like to also call upon Raja Rajeshwari, who's an author and independent publishing consultant, a creative writing coach, and a coffee entrepreneur. You have to tell us more about that. As indeed an exceptional woman of excellence, creating a, you know, vibrant body of work like we witnessed today, like we were fortunate enough to witness today. And I'd like to offer deep gratitude to you ladies, to you soul sisters, for being here and for being who you are. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Love you and God bless.
Thank you. Blessings right back. Thank you, ladies.